What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Her Lounge podcast. If it sounds a little weird, that's because today I'm actually recording from my house. And because I didn't want for you guys not to have an episode on the day that I actually drop, I asked my husband if he would kindly set me up here in our home office so that I could still provide you guys with an episode for today and for Friday. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for being patient. I was supposed to release it this morning, and I know a lot of you guys were sending me DMs as to where the podcast was, and I'm going to still have it, but just not on time. So.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. So we're recording with this microphone, so let's not touch this desk because it's a desktop microphone and it makes a bunch of rumbling noise. But anyway, we'll be set up here soon. I'll make sure to bring the other mic and the headphones and everything from the studio. So thank you.
And before we get started, guys, y'all know I like to always start with a motivating quote or whatever. But today I actually, because it is Women's International Day, so happy Women's International Day to all my female listeners. Aren't we just such a badass breed? I'm so happy to be a female.
Did you just call females a breed?
Yeah, we are. We're a breed. We're just badasses, and I just love being a female. But I read something over the weekend that I thought was really interesting. What is the girl's name? Pearly White, or what's her name?
Just Pearly Things.
Just Pearly Things. She always says that if you're in a messed up relationship, it's by choice. So she doesn't believe in it was just kind of a mistake, because a lot of women continue to pick the same type of man, even though that kind of man was the one that caused a heartache or financial stress or whatever the case may be. So she feels like if you ended up having a baby daddy, it's because you made a mistake somewhere along the way and you didn't choose correctly. But I think that sometimes we can make mistakes. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes you may think this person is the right person for you. And then as time goes by and, you invest all this time in a person, you start to realize yeah, this is not the person for me. But then you could also be that type of person where you're like, this is also hard for me to leave. Does that make sense?
Like you get stuck in the situation?
Yeah, you're kind of stuck in the situation. Deep? Or you may just be like, damn, I didn't invest a whole year in this relationship. Maybe it'll get better, or maybe we can work on it, or maybe something good will come out of this, right? So the owner of Lions Not Sheep, right? That's the name of the brand. Mm-hmm. I follow his personal page, and he said something about marriage. So for my single women, or if you're not married yet, but you do want to marry eventually, I'm a little bit more of a traditional marriage person, I feel. I like to say that I do like to be a submissive wife, but because my husband is also a submissive husband. And what I mean by that is you do for me and I do for you. So it's a two-way street. It's not just one person giving and the other one just taking advantage. And I think in a relationship, it has to be that way. You both can't just, it's not one give, and the other one is take, And a lot of times people are stuck in that type of relationship. But this guy's post was very long. And I usually, guys, I will be honest, do not read posts that are this long, especially when they have 5 paragraphs, actually more. But I thought it was very interesting. And I just wanted to read it to you guys. From what I understand, this is also his second marriage. So I guess along the way, he kind of discovered who he was. And I think sometimes that is. That's why I'm saying, if you made the mistake once, don't go back and make the same mistake again, And his caption was this: marriage. It isn't miserable. It isn't supposed to be a ball and chain experience. It's wild to me to hear people let their relationships die. They don't feed it. They don't nourish it. They don't invest in it. At one point in time, you loved this human so much you wanted to spend your life with them. Now you talk about how shitty they and your life is. People think making more money will be the answer. It isn't. The lack of trust and disdain is the same in a Honda as a Range Rover. Folks think building an army of sympathizers by gossiping about their own lover is some sort of blanket of comfort, but all you're doing is eroding the sanctity.
Or sanctity, yeah.
Some folks think the grass is greener because some pigeon gives you a second of stimuli, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the truth is your partner could give you so much more. My marriage has been the greatest test and joy of my life. It has made me a better man. She hasn't made me a better man. Our union has. Because in order for me to have what I want with her, I have to evolve every day. I choose this woman. I chose her, and I choose to do life with her. If it turns into shit, that means I turned it into shit. It means I quit watering the garden. It means I quit nourishing it. If a man truly valued himself, he'd value his relationship above all else. A man's relationship is a mirror of his internal commitments. It takes nothing to watch porn. It takes nothing to cheat. It takes nothing to settle. But it takes a valiant and purposefully intentional work to have a deeply connected union based on trust, vulnerability, and honor. It takes a courageous man to lead a marriage. It takes a savage to be radically naked with her, to hand her the keys to the kingdom. Little boys will never achieve this simply because deep down they are scared of the power. They beat their chest but are terrified toddlers. They fear her holding the keys because they have built their walls of power. On sandy foundation and scared little boy fears, she will run away with the keys. Remember something, boys. Queens don't run from kings. They run with them. Queens don't hide your keys. They use them to unlock the doors you don't even know exist.
Come on, somebody. Yesterday, Marisol told me the sweetest thing. It was the sweetest thing. It really hit me in the heart.
I feel like, damn, am I mean all the time?
No, I'm not saying like, no, I just relate so much. And be careful hitting the desk because this mic is on the desk and it rumbles. That when you send me that, like that caption, I think it takes like a mature gentleman to kind of understand it instead of like, I juggle hoes, bro. I'm supposed to have a bunch of hoes, bro. And like, what the hell I look like being a one-woman man? And like, that's lame, bro. It's just because you old and y'all don't think it's ganas, bro. Like, you just don't have energy about there chasing it no more. That's why you're over here being Mr. Loyal or whatever, right?
Oh,
because like when I'm on my podcast, I'm always telling my young kings, stay vigilant. Mm-hmm. Like, don't fall for the okie dokes. So I think that was a powerful caption. And I'm definitely blessed to be in that phase of my life where, like, you know, it's all about you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? look at her face.
I don't know about it all being about me, guys.
Well, no, you don't know what I mean. What I mean is like, basically, like the sweetest thing yesterday was when you're like, hey, I'm gonna, what'd you say? I'm not gonna go to class. I just want to stay home.
No, I got free tickets to the rodeo.
That's what it was. To go see New Kids on the Block, club seats. And I was like, I'll watch the kids. I was like, you go with your friend. And I really don't know why you didn't go. But she was like,
I just told you why.
Yeah. Can you tell them what you told me? And I was like, damn, that's like the sweetest thing in the world.
I just said, well, first of all, he's been out of town. So you have, and since you've come back into town, it's been go per usual. And I just said, I like miss you and I want to hang out. So I'm not going to go to the rodeo.
I was like, damn, that right there is just like so sweet. Like, yo, I just want to stay home and hang with you.
And we did.
Yeah, and cuddle with you and let's watch this Chris Rock and let's just kick it. And I was like, that's all I really care. That's all I really want. Like, I'm just glad that you didn't drag me to that concert because although I do like to be entertained and like I don't like crowds and situations like that where you can have a terrorist go do some stupid shit and we're over here sitting ducks. I would have did it, you know, just because it's like, well, I'm here with my girl and it's like, I'm already 43. How many more years do I have left?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Chingo, if you're lucky, if you do the math, you got about 30 Christmases left, big dot. About 30 summers. We don't know what the Lord gonna bless us with. You never know. But yeah, shout out to all the couples out there. And you know, like my new material with my stand-up, I'm definitely talking to the couples, talking to the fellas, talking to the men. Like, I'm trying to pick apart how society tries to pin us against each other,
Mm-hmm.
how they try to brainwash the women into thinking like, girl, you want to be powerful and independent, you don't need no man, and forget these fools and all this.
Mm-hmm.
And then a jar be too hard to open, and then next thing you know, you do need us.
Well, I just it just made me kind of think about that because of the fact that I think there's so many women right now who are single who talk about, you know, they don't need a man. And I hate when I hear that because I feel like it's not about needing a man. I know none of us need a man. You don't need a woman. I don't need a man. Like, I get it. We know that. But isn't it nice to have a companion that you can actually share life with? Like, we weren't created to be alone, like by ourselves. Like, that's not, if that was the case, why would God have made Eve?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So, granted that bitch fucked up, but you know what I'm saying?
With the apple. Juan Bettis was saying something interesting today. It's like super random, but he was basically saying how a lot of times men, we were talking about how humans are wired, like how God created us, basically, right? Because we're talking about how science is starting to show more and more that there's order in life. Like, there's a reason why God made women get fulfillment from being nurturing. So, like, all the career women who chose not to have kids, not to get married, not to build a family, and just do career and make it to the top, get that 401k, and they end up miserable. They're like, damn, I screwed up. Like, I'm missing something.
Correct.
Right? And just like men, like, we get fulfillment from being problem solvers, from providing. Like, I never knew how much fulfillment I got from work and earning a paycheck until they took all that away, right? During the government lockdowns, where I was like, yo, this is like really depressing on many levels. Because you just feel like, what's the word they used on us? Unnecessary, extra, unessential, non-essential.
Oh yeah, you're not. You weren't essential.
I was non-essential, boy.
Oh my God, you sure were.
Goodness, yeah, I was very non-essential.
Entertainment was not part of being essential.
And not to mention,
the crazy thing though, we did need it. We needed that that entertainment because everybody was in such a scare and didn't know what was going on or what was going to happen. So how entertainment was not essential, I don't know.
Yeah, make sure you have time to look at that camera.
Maybe I should have sat there because this is my podcast.
Oh, damn. Okay. You saw you picked the wrong chair.
And I've never sat that close to look at myself, and I'm like, ooh, my highlights, some of them look orange.
Here,
Mom,
let's not
excuse me, Mom.
Here, look at the camera.
Why is my hair not the right color? No, but real talk, seriously. Besides the whole thing, it just kind of really makes you think, and which leads me to the next thing about what we did yesterday was watch the Chris Rock thing, and he made such good points that so many, and I think, don't you think that sometimes females act like victims, which is why they end up by themselves because, oh, all guys are assholes. All guys are this. All guys cheat and all blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
and they're all the same.
F-boys.
Yeah.
Men are trash.
And so, I mean, yeah, if you're going to sit there and look for, right? If you're going to look for trash, you're going to find trash.
Or if you attract trash.
Exactly. which then you need to look within yourself to see what traits you have that is attracting this type of trash.
That's like that Cat Williams joke. You remember that one?
No.
He's like, women be like, ends ain't S. Ends ain't shit. Ends ain't shit. She's like, then he says, maybe you need to figure out what it is about your peep that keep attracting ain't S ends. Sorry, it's a lot of word letters.
Well, basically saying maybe you need to check yourself because you're attracting these losers.
What is it about you?
Yeah. So yeah, what is it about you? And I totally agree. And I think that there's a lot of females out there like that or they don't think there's nothing wrong with them. They're perfect. And really it's the male that's got the issue, not them. So, heaven forbid that they be the ones with the problem, And it's funny because my mom and I kind of had this conversation about how, marrying somebody with kids, right? And so she was saying that, I'm like, well, it's kind of hard when you're older, if you're trying to date, finding someone that has never been married or has not had children, right?
Especially in Mexico.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's really hard for you to do. Like, where are you going to find someone? And I told my mom, I said, the funny thing is that if you're a female who's never been married and doesn't have children, they automatically assume there's something wrong with you, right? But if there's a male with no kids and has never been married, there's nothing wrong with him.
Sometimes they probably think like, well, that's weird. Like, why you ain't never, unless you just escaped and got lucky and, never got entangled.
Entanglement.
Never got entangled. Never got yourself in a situation.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, maybe it's just me, but I don't find it weird. Had I met a guy who had no kids, had never been married at that age, I would have seen it as like
a unicorn.
Oh, basically like, God, this guy really is thinking about who he is going to marry, he's going to make the mother of his children if that's what he chooses. I mean, he's really making like educated decisions, careful decisions,
life choices.
Yes, exactly.
Being responsible.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be responsible, everybody.
Very responsible.
That's coming from a 43-year-old. It's easy for me to say, right? But you ain't got the energy to be irresponsible no more.
Yeah, and I think Chris Rock kind of said that whole thing about we're living right now where everyone just wants is a victim, poor me, attention. And I agree with that. But it's so funny how he framed it. There is greatness out there. And some of us don't want to follow the accounts that have greatness because it's like, oh, this is so boring. Is this person always great? But then you see someone who's like posting themselves driving the latest, I don't know, car? Phantom. I don't know, whatever it is. I don't even know about cars, so it doesn't even matter. I think they're pointless. But you know what I'm saying? Like, and you're coming out of that car and they're like, man, they're doing it big. You don't even know if they own the car, if they leased it, or if they asked to do like somebody
whose
to
name,
borrow it. If
how much debt you in for that?
Like,
you don't know the interest rate. You don't know if they're upside down on that Bentley.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, it's true. It's like we are all attention whores.
And then guess what?
We're all living for likes.
Yeah, and guess what? Yeah, he said that. And guess what else? You're over here trying to like, finally, I pulled up in a Bentley. Well, guess what? People are going to be looking at that like, yeah, how many miles on it? Or, oh, that's an old 2008 Bentley. If you don't get up out of here with your 2012 Bentley or whatever, right?
I don't even know how Bentleys work, to be honest.
I'm just saying, like, we're in 2023. And even if you got one that's like, oh, it's a 2020. Okay, well, next year it's going to be 4 years old. And you're not going to impress. You're not going to be able to impress everybody. Like, that's just a.
But why are we having to impress people, first of all?
Because that's the devil.
I don't do anything in life to impress anybody. I will say this. I do things so that my kids notice it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I do, they're my little humans that I find important to kind of be like, oh, well, my mom does that, or my mom does this, or that's who's important to me, because they're the next generation of what's going to happen on Earth. You know what I'm saying? Are they going to be good humans or bad humans? If they see their mom doing good, if they see their mom being someone who's caring and is helpful to others and encourages others, then I hope those traits pass on to them so that they're good humans and they're good, citizens and females, and because there ain't nothing more annoying than a hating ass female.
Boy, Say that one more
nothing.
thing.
And on International Women's Day, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. If you are having to talk shit about another female, if you're criticando, if you're like
Trifling.
just saying, yeah, well, she only has that because blah blah blah, or this only happened because of blah blah blah, boo boo.
Petty.
Boo boo. What is going on in your life that you have to analyze whatever the other person is doing or has going on to where you're having to be bitter about it? Right?
Sitting there talking about
So petty. And if you're over a certain age, like what is the age? I don't know.
What's the cutoff? 25?
25 is for me. And I actually said this on my story today because I had a conversation with someone earlier today, and it was insane that at 44, she's still having to go through stuff like that. I don't have time for it, so I don't entertain it. I immediately am like, I'm one of those that like is turned off by it and don't want to be around it, so I immediately just kind of shut it down and don't entertain it. But it can get annoying, and it does get annoying when people just want to have their 2 cents, and it's like, what's going on in your life? Like, you must be miserable. You're the toxic one. You're the one that ain't got shit happening and are portraying maybe something that you're not. And so that's what makes you unhappy.
Yeah, if you're happy, blessed, grateful, successful, busy, then you really ain't got time to go and even though from time to time I'll be pulling up on people's pages, you know what I'm talking about, you know, people that maybe ain't apologized yet. And they're not seeing that Chingo Bling was right all along.
Mm-hmm.
So I might have to just pull up, but guess what? I'm human. And I guess you could say, como te digo, like I'm weak from time to time. So I've done this before. I'm a grown ass man, but sometimes I'll still pull up like, yeah, sucker.
I don't do that, babe. Sorry.
I know the people. Hey, the messed up thing is like they probably got me on mute, like to where nobody sees my comment. I'm like, yeah, fool's gone wild. That's why we over here about to have World War III because y'all was over here talking about me. I was trying to get y'all the real. Now your taxes about to go up.
If I look at anyone's account, it's just to see like what I don't want to be like, and it just keeps reminding me of like I'm so happy I'm not that person. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I really try to follow accounts that really benefit me or really encourage me. Like it was funny because Penny saw me watching DLB and that girl, Kristen, I think is her name. Mm-hmm. And Kristen Dunn, I think is her name. Anyway, she was like, oh, they have like a lot of muscles. Are they boys or girls? Is what she asked, right?
They got boy hormones.
And then me, very offended because this is my idol, my hero, right?
Yeah,
like,
Dana
how
Lynn.
Dare you say that about Dana Lynn Bailey? I was like,
go to your room, little girl.
I was like explaining to her, and I said, you don't have to look. I was kind of explaining to her about dedication, and I know she's 4, but that's what no one ever sees. It's like all they immediately judge, right? They're like, oh, she's on steroids. Okay, well, she's on steroids, whatever, right? But guess what?
You're like, she might be on a little bit of steroids.
She what's Anavar? Or what's the other one?
We don't know. We don't know what.
Well, she don't have the manly face, so.
But they do eat like scientists. They eat so clean and consistent.
That's why I'm saying that's exactly where I was going. So yes, if we want to get technical, then let's talk about women who get plastic surgery then. So what about y'all? Y'all are over there also cheating the way to look the way you want to look. Because if you want to say that bodybuilders who take supplements are cheating, it's equivalent to a female who gets a BBL, a tummy tuck, breast implants, all of that. You have to keep it up. If you don't want to look like a big fat ass with big boobs and a big ass and a stomach, even though you got a liposuction, you have to take care of yourself. You have to keep it up. So it's the same thing with bodybuilders, I feel like if you are, let's just say you do take steroids. I mean, like you said, they still have to eat clean. They still get up every day and exercise. They don't miss it. It's their lifestyle, it's like regardless.
A specific amount of water.
Yes.
All kind of supplements and vitamins.
So
X amount of sleep.
And
rest.
it's like the discipline. It's the discipline for me. It's the discipline and dedication to me that I really admire in these women who are very muscular and to most would be considered a very manly look, and they are. But if you look beyond that, right? And this, my point to that is if you look beyond anyone who you maybe dislike, right? Instead of, and I've said this before in my podcast, instead of you hating, why don't you put your ego to the side and maybe watch what this person is doing? You could learn a thing or two, and then you can start probably succeeding or doing more, or, you know, growing as an individual or whatever it is, because now you've taken the time to look within yourself and think, what can I do different? What can I do different so that I am just as successful as this person, or I'm more successful than that person, whatever it is. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, I just feel like we need to stop being attention whores, like Chris Rock said.
Damn.
And just, you know, I mean, that's kind of basically what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, because he said, he was like, different ways to get attention. And not spoiler alert, make sure y'all go check out Chris Rock's new special. But he said, number one, what do you say? Show your ass on the internet. Or he's like, two, what was it, like, accomplish something great, like that requires hard work, and like something else difficult. And it's like, and that's why some people just show their ass, because it's so much easier.
And that's what I meant about DLB and them. It's so much work to look that way. It's so much work. And this is their job. I read an article that DLB wrote one time, and she was, I think, in like Muscle Magazine or something like that. And she said, I can't afford to like not look fit all the time or take some time off, because let's say, for example, the magazine that she was in, let's just say that magazine called her and said, hey, can you shoot next week? Well, she can't look fit and point in a week. So she has to maintain that way because that's her job.
She has to stay ready. She ain't got to get ready.
Exactly. You have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah,
exactly.
in the nature of being on point and ready, it's like she can't be like, oh, photo shoot. Hey, can you give me like 16 weeks or 12, maybe 9? Speaking of being a good example and all this stuff, I had a great day with Penny today.
You did?
We filmed some content. Part of what we did was a daddy-daughter like date day, basically. We got the idea from another kid's channel. But we got to go to the park. She's good at the hula hoop. I am not. Played a little bit of like baseball, frisbee, hula hoop. Went and got chicken tenders at Lane's. Shout out to Lane's.
If you ain't been, you better go, and you'll never go to Cane's again after you try Lane's.
New location in Houston. Tell them you heard of. If you tag Lane's or you leave them a comment, tell them you heard it from Marisol and Chingo, so that way, you know what I'm saying, we could probably have a nice relationship.
That way, then we can get some free tenders,
free sauces, or at the very least, like, hey, we're doing a big festival for Cinco de Mayo. Do you want to be one of the sponsors, or hey, you know, something like that? We'll figure it out.
But anyway, yeah. So that's what made me think about all this. Was I saved that post because I said this is something that I really would like to talk about on the podcast, because I feel like we're kind of in that era, or that not era, maybe that time for some reason where it's bad to be a or what is it called? The toxic.
Toxica?
No, men. Male toxicity.
Toxic masculinity.
Yeah, there you go. For some reason, like, we don't want men to be men anymore. Like, why do we want them to be so soft? And I just don't get it, right? Now, I'm not saying like that macho shit from like 1950s. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about basically exactly what this man wrote. Is like, we should be, bro, they wouldn't know what the fuck to do if every couple that really took the time to work on their marriage would do. I think there'd be less divorce lawyers. Yeah. There'd be less single parents out there. But I know that there are times where you think you made the right decision to marry someone. It seems like it's going great. And then you fucking start discovering, or temptation, right? Some little floozy comes around and tempts your husband or your significant other, right? And then they turn around and cheat. Now,
they be trying to tickle something that ain't been tickled in a minute. So make sure y'all tickle.
Why does it always have
well, because think about it. Well, this is why. Because you just finished talking about temptation, and the weakness of men sometimes in the flesh, and some floozy come around and offer you that moment of stimuli, right? So basically, the moral of that story is like, be so locked in and so focused on each other to where like there is no room. You know what I'm saying? Like everything done been tickled. You know what I mean? You ain't letting them out the door with nothing in the chamber.
What did Chris Rock say yesterday about Elon Musk, baby?
Oh yeah.
So guys, if you have got to go watch it because that shit was so funny.
We were definitely giggling.
My God,
we got a lot of laughs.
That was so funny when he talked about Elon Musk. And it is true. He used it, and again, this is talking about dating, because he said Beyonce could be working at Burger King and she could still pull herself a Jay-Z, meaning she's so banging, like she looks so good, that should a Jay-Z come through her drive-through, meaning somebody with money, right? She could still pull that person. But if Jay-Z was working
at Burger King,
he
just gonna have to stay.
Not pull a Beyonce. He's gonna have to stay.
Best he could do is work up from fries to grill, maybe manager at best.
It is true, right? It's whichever way you want to look at it, guys. There's still double standards. There's still, girls can get away with this, men cannot get away with that. Whatever way you want to look at it.
That's what Marisol pulled me. I was working at a taco truck, and she pulled me like that. She's like, "Hey, caritas."
Oh my
She's
God.
like, "Hey, caritas."
On that note, guys.
That's before I had the salt and pepper in the beard. So I was really looking young.
Like the corn guy, babe. But what does he sell? He sells corn, right?
That viral person.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was. He was making something.
I don't know what he sells. Anyway, guys, I'm sure everybody has seen it on TikTok or on Instagram. But he's like this buff guy who sells, I guess, corn, I think. I don't know what he sells.
Something. The women ain't even paying attention to what he sells.
Everybody's like, where do I find him? He looks
like,
so good.
They're like, I don't know. I don't even know what he's selling. but I'm on my way.
And that's what I mean. You see what I'm saying? Like,
viejas andan caliente.
They're all ready. You gotta be ready, because that man was like, that's how he stays in business, and he's smart, right? It's just like a girl posting her ass on the Instagram.
Yeah, I guess.
No?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like all my young kings out there staying vigilant. Once you reframe there's two ways to look at the big booty chicks on Instagram, right? There's two ways.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be in the phase of your life to where you might be like, oh, they're showing all this stuff for free. It's harmless entertainment. It's just some eye candy for the timeline. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't harm anything that I just press the follow button. They showing stuff for free. But once you reframe it as this is a toxic predator that's using thirst traps and persuasion to suck your energy and time and distract you, and you're not even gonna get with her anyway. She's on there, got her OnlyFans on the link. Like she got her OnlyFans in the bio. Like all that is just clogging up your timeline from actual productive things. That's if you're on Instagram, right? Some people are like, no, I gotta stay off of it. But that's two ways to look at it. Either you could look at it like, oh, they're giving it away for free. It's no harm. It's just a little bit of clickbait. No big deal. No harm, no foul. Or you start to reframe it like, boy, this is a toxic predator trying to thirst trap people, and they want to catch you and look at you like you're weak. Like you have no power and no control. So yeah, we are following all them people. All my young kings, stay vigilant.
Someone, so I just came back from doing a market at my sister's job for Women's International Day.
Tell them how it went.
And it went great. It went well. But they had different speakers and whatever, but then they played bingo, but not a regular bingo. So she would call out something like, if you've ever gone to Hawaii, you put a little little tab or whatever on your bingo card. Anyway, she said, if you don't have an Instagram and you don't have any social media, you get you get a bunch of them, right? Bro, no one except one person
I envy that.
in
person.
100 and something women, and there was a few men that were in there, but 100 and something women that were in there, only one person had no social media. And she bought a pair of earrings for me because I had to see who this person was when they said, you know, she doesn't have. And I said, so you have no social media? She goes, nope. I said, well, how do you keep in touch with people? She's like, the same way we used to keep in touch with people like in the 90s. She's like, I call my friends and I will, you know, text them and how are you doing? And, you know, I send cards. And I was like, oh, she goes, so I send cards during Christmas. So her kids are grown now. They're like 19 and 17 or whatever. But she said that, you know, she doesn't do it. And she says she doesn't find it interesting. And so she just would rather stay off of social media. I couldn't believe she had nothing except a smart iPhone that texts and sends pictures, and that's it. Can you imagine? Like, I don't know anybody like that. Do you?
That doesn't get on
no social media whatsoever. Even my parents, my mom is, your mom and your dad are.
Yeah, apparently they both on there now. Speaking of like calling your friends and stuff, like we can't take that for granted. Like I talked to my friend today, and it was one of those like encouragement pep talks type of thing that we all need sometimes. Like everybody, you never know, everybody's going through something, and that's just an example of like instead of just wasting time scrolling aimlessly and just liking pics and leaving a comment here and there, like that's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like it's easy to think that takes the place of real connection, of being like, oh yeah, I talk to all my friends and yeah, I see them all the time. Like, what do you mean? Well, I like their stuff. Have you talked to them? No. Have you texted them? No, but I left a comment. And it's like, you know, because I mean, friendships and all kind of relationships, they require time and energy.
Especially if you have kids and they're in activities and you're running businesses. I mean, it's hard to keep up with everybody. So my girlfriend Rania and I, and it's funny because her sister's kids and my kids go to the same swim school. But my girlfriend lives in California. To avoid like calling her when she's busy or her calling me when I'm busy, we use the Marco Polo app. And so basically we leave like video messages to one another, just kind of updating each other on what's going on. So
like a mini podcast.
It is. Pete's
hey,
like,
girl.
And sometimes he'll be like, is she still talking?
Or
oh
you.
My God, or me.
Or to be like, you about to send all that? She's going to have to listen to all that? Like, yeah, this stupid person don't know how to drive. Sorry. Anyway, I'm here. And like you're driving. You're doing 2 other things. Hold on, someone's calling me. I'm like, that's like the worst voicemail.
It's awesome. She does it to me. She'll be like, hold on 1 second. I'm in this parent pickup line. And then she'll like turn it off and then turns it back on. Okay, I'm back.
Marisol's like, hold on, I'm in the drive-thru. Yeah, let me get a grande ice.
I sure did. Oh, by the way, this drink that I'm having, y'all, is a cinnamon caramel cream nitro cold brew.
Dang. I don't know if the sugar gonna make my head hurt.
Bro, well, it was actually not bad for a grande. It was only 160 calories, which is not bad for something that's kind of, and it's the right amount of sweet, because everybody knows I don't do sweet coffee. It's the right amount of sweet with the right amount of coffee.
Eso es cierto. I'll be the judge.
You tell me. Right?
What kind is that dairy?
I'm sure it's
the cream, yeah. It's kind of sweet. It's not like overpoweringly sweet. But is that what is it, like hazelnut is in there?
No, it's cinnamon.
Oh, caramel. Yeah, caramel. The caramel.
What is it? Caramel or caramel?
Sepa la madre. Tell them what markets you have next.
So if you're in Houston, guys, please come out this Saturday to the Houston Boss Babes Spring Fest. I will be one of 50 vendors there, all female owned. Let me look at the flyer right quick to tell y'all.
I will be in Odessa, Texas, March 11th. Marisol's like, hey, bro, you a guest, bro. We ain't asked you to rattle off your tour dates.
All right, birthday.
I have Fresno, California coming up March 23rd, followed by Merced and Visalia.
I am going to, 1 second.
That's a lot. I got a lot of traveling to do in March.
Yeah, you do.
What's after this Cali run? I guess I could check my phone.
All right. So the address to this weekend's event is 4201 Main Street. Again, 4201 Main Street, Houston, Texas, 77002. 50 women-owned businesses this Saturday at the Ion is what it's called. It's a brand new facility. It's pretty cool. It's going to be indoors, so rain or shine, we'll be there. So, you'll be indoors. No worries if it's,
And their markets are always
they do, something that I will say about these ladies is that they do an amazing job at marketing, and they've made a name for themselves. So they've done a very good job of making sure their markets are good. Some people say that what they don't like about their markets is the same people coming. And my thing is like, I don't give a shit if it's the same people coming. Like the
same fans? Like the
I
same
guess so,
foot
but
traffic?
like the same foot traffic.
How do you even keep track of that with so many people?
Exactly. I don't even know that. But what I like is when people say, oh, you were at the last market. I remember you. I bought blah, blah, blah from you. So to me, it doesn't bother me. I like that they say you were at the last market and you're coming back again. That means in my opinion, I feel like they're doing a good job in making these events good to where women want to come back, even though their market was just 3 weeks ago or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the vendors, they fight over those spots because they do a good job.
They do. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. And don't forget, if you find yourself kind of being a little bit of a hater sometimes, really kind of look in your heart. I heard a message this morning from Real Talk Kim about your heart. I think your heart she's very right when she says that you have to look in your heart to see what is bothering you, that you have to be such an evil or just a bitch to other people. You know what I'm saying? When
I heard that message this morning, I didn't take it as hey, don't be a hater. I took it as hey, what's weighing heavy on your heart? Is there a concern? Is there a fear? Is there just a problem you're dealing with?
For me, it was a mix of things, because I feel like sometimes someone's negativity, what's in their heart, kind of projects onto other people, and their negative vibe rubs off on the next person, and then just kind of it keeps rolling over. I'm just saying, if you're out there being a hater, find yourself a fucking hobby, and find something to do that makes you happy, so that you're not a miserable little soul, and you're not out there spreading bad vibes, but instead spreading good vibes, and instead putting out positive messages, positive attitude, so that there's a professor that I had, and I've always, this saying was always, I memorized it. He had 3 rules. Of the 3 rules, I memorized this one. And the rule was, do your job well. Do your job so well that when a person thinks of a job well done, they think of you. And that is absolutely 100% true. If you're a business owner, you want to do a job so well because you want to be referred. You want for others to talk about how good they were, how you showed up on time, you responded to emails, you did all of the things that as a business you're supposed to do. If you're whatever it is that you do, even as a mother, you want your children to say, you know what? My mother was such a good mom. I hope to be just a little tad bit of the way she was. If you're a father listening, same thing goes to you. It doesn't matter what you do in life, whatever it is that you're doing, do it so well so that when someone thinks of a job well done, it's your name that comes out of their mouth. And with that being said, guys, I will see you guys Friday and Saturday. If you're able to come out, come join me, stop by, say hello, tell me you heard about me being at the market through the podcast. That's the only way I'll know. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe. Tell a friend about the podcast. Share it if you enjoy it. The only way I will continue to grow is if you help me grow by telling others about my podcast. Have a great day.